Hi guys, so today I'm going to basically show you the journey I took to get my figs, mostly fig cuttings that I had ordered on figbid.com. There are different sites you can order from. It's one of the more reputable sites. There are eBay sellers, but a lot of times you don't know what sticks they are actually sending you until the tree is grown and making fruit, right? So you want to stick with something more reputable. But I just want to quickly just say that because at the beginning of the video I'm like, oh, here, I'll show you how to root, or I'm going to try to root these cuttings, and then that didn't work. Months went by, some other things didn't work or did work, and some of them took, some of them didn't, some took way later. So I kind of followed that whole journey in this one video. Okay, so these are just trees, obviously, that I bought. You know, they're nice and big. Local nursery, different places. Mostly at the local nursery, and a couple Home Depot plants and one from Lowe's. And then these are the cuttings that I had rooted. Some I had to up pot, and they're actually making figs and things. So you'll see that in the video, but I do want to just at the beginning say something about it, because if you're watching it, you're going to say, oh, what is she doing? So that's basically what it is. So from getting twigs in the mail to potting them up, you know, to getting them to root different ways, or ways that didn't work, it's all gonna be in there, okay? So thanks for watching, and just stay tuned. Hi guys, so I picked up a few more fig trees and I wanted to show them to you, but I just want to show you if it's progress, I don't know, in my kitchen, quote unquote. We got new plywood put in, but since my windows are in, but they had to wait to do the stucco and stuff on the outside, which I'll show you, the guys just boarded up the windows. It looks horrible. Same thing in my craft room around the corner, but that's all gonna come down. We're just waiting for the insurance to finalize what they need to do so that the water damage gets taken care of. But as you can see, there's like things from that, what they just did. And I'll show you my blue figs just a minute. But check this out. Oh my god, I should have showed you guys when they ripped everything out. This wall looked ridiculous. I mean, even the neighbor comes out, he's like, wow, what are you guys doing? They reconstructed this whole thing. So props to people in construction. I've always admired that kind of work, because like I have no idea, and you know, whenever we think of anything, we're like, oh my god. I mean, obviously it wasn't cheap. It wasn't as expensive as I would think though, because they ripped out that whole thing, remade everything, remade the box, that soffit that you see down there and everything, and it looks pretty much just the way it was, right? Look, I mean, this is original, this is new. They still have to paint it, but I'm like blown away. But I guess that's what happens when you do your own like patch job and it looks horrible and people expect everyone's job is gonna like that. This is professional people. 9/11 restoration, they hired obviously other people to come in and do this, but if you're in the San Diego area and something happens to your house, I'm telling you, these guys have been taking care of everything so well. So 9/11 restoration, not that I get paid by them or anything like that. Okay, so these are my trees that we got, and I already showed you. I had to move this one away because, oh my god, when they pulled all this stuff out, it put all kinds of dust on my poor plants, and I'm like, oh no, because they need to be pollinated and they're dusty, and you know, poor thing. So this is a Mexican lime. She's doing great though. This is my pink lemonade lemon. Some kind of tangerine, I forgot the name of it. I can turn and see the sticker, but I don't really feel like it. This is my dwarf Meyer lemon, which has been doing great. She came like this, like without leaves. She hasn't dropped any leaves, but she is dropping some of her blooms, but at the same time she has way too many blooms, right? Look how many leaves are on here. You need the leaves to soak in, you know, the sun to do what they gotta do to get that energy to your blooms. So I think that's happening just because it can't support this. Like, this is way too many, and I probably should take some of them off, but I hate to do that. So sometimes I'll come out here and I kind of flicker. See? Things fall off. That's just the flower petals, but some of the little bulbs have fallen off, but others are looking great. So, you know, not a lot, but there's new growth. All this pretty stuff is all new. So, you know, I've had them for 2 weeks now. I haven't killed it yet, so that's a good sign. Little kumquat, this is the Nagami kumquat. It already showed up with their little kumquats that were almost ready to go. Some of them we're still waiting for. So the kids have been eating them every day. They eat like one or two, because that's all I have every day for them to eat that are ready. This little guy is the Fortuna or something, lucky fruit, Fortunella kumquat, so it's a little bit different. It came all green. Some of them have cracked because we had some rain and I think it was just too much water. Like they probably got watered at Home Depot, because this is where this came from. But now look at, there's some new growth in this one too. Oh, so cute. So that's good. And then these guys need to also ripen. So, and they were super dark green. I mean, there were not even close. So these guys are growing and doing what they need to do and ripening, I guess is the word. I also sprayed these guys with some Monterey BT, which keeps bugs and things like that away. So just so you know, it's a organic substance, but you don't want to put it on. Well, that one you can use on everything. There's another one that I got, I forgot the name of it. Oh, Spinosad. And that one will kill honeybees. So like you don't want to put it, and obviously I already have blooms, so I don't want to put it on any of these things because the honeybees or the bees are already coming around. This is that weird little fig I got at Home Depot. Let me show you. So most of my citrus trees I got at Home Depot. I think all of them, except for the Mexican lime. I got that at Green Thumb Nursery in San Marcos, where I live. But look at these little guys. I don't know if you can see. They're looking pretty good, but you can also maybe see all that dust. Oh my gosh. So we try to, my husband used a blower. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna blow the things off. So I think it kind of probably messed some of these guys up. I can't see that they would live after that. I mean, unless they had already been, what's the word? Pollinated. You know what I'm saying? If they're already pollinated, maybe they don't need the stickiness that they would have had otherwise, because those things totally got like just covered in dust. It's so bad. I should have thought about that. Anyway, got some spearmint and some mint, yerba buena and whatever they call it, mojito. I don't know why. It's just anyway, mint. And this one's a spearmint, and it's so pretty. And look at that vine. So I'm gonna plant these in the ground because they'll just take off, but I just don't know where to put them yet. And I know they're still doing work here at my house, so I don't want to put them in the ground yet. But this little guy says Fig Magnolia. If you look up Magnolia Fig, no one has any information about that. It's like, what is a Magnolia Fig? So I don't know if, and it's by Vigoro. If you look up online Vigoro, it says, oh, it's owned by Home Depot, but it doesn't give you any information as far as anything. So I'm not sure. I think they just got some kind of fig cuttings just to sell them, and they have no idea what's up. But this one's been doing the best. I mean, she's like taking off as far as her leaves, and she looks like a little plant more than a tree. But I don't see any kind of like fig buds, and there should be. So I think she's still too young though. Obviously, look how tiny the thing is. So let's move on to the figs I just got. So as you can see, these are not in pretty pots. They're just in black pots. These I planted in pretty pots next year for sure, I guess. I'll probably have to uproot them or plant them, because they're not the biggest pots, but they're not super small. It might last a year or two, but they're gonna need to go in something bigger, right? But what I wanted to tell you guys is look at these. I just bought these at Ganter Nursery, Ganter in Vista, California. And I only went out there because I had seen on DaveWilson.com, Dave Wilson's the guy, nursery, maybe it's DaveWilsonNursery.com, I don't know, that propagates a lot of these little plants and fruit trees, mostly fruit trees and stuff like that. So at Green Thumb, they only had a certain, like 3 varieties. But at Ganter, they had like 9 of the varieties that Dave Wilson makes of fig. And I was like, oh no, because there's certain ones I wanted to try. I have a lot of purple figs over there, so I was like, I want yellow or green ones or whatever. So this is Peter's honey that everyone loves and says it's awesome. And look at the leaf on this. He looks sad, right? So I've watered him and he didn't get any happier. And their leaves are nice and they're not weak or like falling down. That's just how he looks, apparently. So Peter's honey is a yellowish greenish fig. When I went to ask about them, I'm like, oh, what do you have your fig trees? Because it was kind of in the hills and it was hard to find anyway the place. So I just pulled up right to the office. And she's like, oh, they're still in our greenhouse. But if there's a certain variety you want, I can go get it for you. And I was like, okay. Because I would like to look at the plant myself, but at the same time, I'm not that picky. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm here for a Greenisha. And I was trying to remember the names of the things I wanted to get from her. And then I was like, she's like, well, I can give you a list. I said, yeah, let's do that, because I don't remember the other ones. I said, oh, panache for sure, which is like a tiger stripe, whatever fig. And she's like, okay. And then she showed me their list of what they had, and so I chose a few. Some of them, of the varieties, they only had in like a huge 10-gallon tree, which was like $90. And first of all, I don't know if I'm gonna kill these or not, so I'm like, no, it's okay, I'll just get some of these little guys. And so she went and selected them for me, which is fine. When you select a plant or a fig or anything, you always want to have a nice thick trunk. Oopsie. The thickest trunk you can find is what you want. So this one's kind of a small trunk, and it even has a little bit of white around there. It's not rot, but it's there. So they kept these in greenhouses probably over the winter, because in Vista does get a little colder, especially where they were kind of in the mountains. So even though it's not that far from here. So they have a lot of green growth. And so actually when I got it home, and I don't know a lot about plants, but I was like, this is probably not good because it was really hot. Like all of a sudden they were in a greenhouse doing their own thing, and I brought them out to the heat and the sun, and I mean, it's really sunny already. It's supposed to cool off tomorrow, and possibly rain in a couple days. But I was like, oh, that's not good. So I kind of kept them in the back towards the shade back there. And then I kind of brought them out here after a couple days. So, you know, because that is kind of jarring, right, for a plant. But what's kind of cool is that they are so big. So when I look at them, each little leaf does have a fig bud coming in behind it. Oh, let me tell you about this panache or tiger fig. It's so cute because look at the stripes. I don't know if you can see it. The variegation on that is on the fig, but it's also on the stem, and I think that is adorable. It's so cute. Like maybe you can even see here, it's like green and yellow. And this little guy, I'm telling you, he just looks sad, but he's not. So when I look, there's all kinds of buds ready to come out. This one, that one's ready. And you can trim those away if you don't want them to be that low because you want a tree and not so much of a bush. But I don't know what I'm gonna do this year because they're still pretty young. These trees are probably a couple years old. And then this little guy is, oh, my green Isha. Okay, so there's the green Isha, and then like I said, the panache here. But it makes me, I'm like, these are so pretty. Oh my gosh. Oh, I hope this is how this is. Look at this. See how light green that is? That's kind of weird, right? Ooh, I hope that's not a problem. I'm telling you, with these leaf patterns, like what's funny was I was bringing them in, I'm like, hey, I got close to this one. Did this guy? No. Which one is it? Yeah, I think it's this guy. The panache, he has a scent. Like I can smell it. Like if you were just sitting here and you smelled like plant life, you know what I'm saying? It smells really nice. But this one and this guy don't have a scent at all. So I thought that was kind of interesting. These were 35 bucks. Big old huge tree, looking good, all that stuff. Look at them. And I bought these twigs at Home Depot and at the Green Thumb Nursery for 29 bucks. So I'm like, I think I jumped ahead of myself. I should have waited to get them. Or I should have waited to see, because they did have Violette De Bordeaux at the Ganter Nursery. I just didn't know. So clearly these guys kept them out, which might be better for the plant, right? Some of them do need some chill hours. They kept them out, and then, you know, they're just going to grow as they do. And the other guys kept them in a greenhouse. Look at this little fig. Isn't that adorable? Oh, it's focusing on the grass and not the fig. Hello, right here. This camera. Let me try to get it to focus over here. No? All right, well, you saw the grass real well. But look how cute. And it's gotten so much bigger. When I first got it, it was like a little bud, and I can just see that it was a fig, but this is the blackjack. One other thing I did real quickly is that sometimes when they graft things, they cut off parts that they don't want to grow, and then it kind of dies back. And the little soft spongy center, which I forget what it's called, kind of dies back too. And then you don't want animals and other things getting in there and eating up your tree because they think it's a dead bark or whatever. So I had seen a video where a guy just used literally just wax, candle wax, because I don't have like the farmer stuff they use to paint or color this in. And maybe this isn't the smartest idea, but I mean, that's what he did, and he has fine trees. So I was burning a candle today. I'm like, oh, that's right, I need to go put some candle wax on here. So I just used like a disposable spoon and kind of just enough to cover it, not fill it in, but just cover this part so that nothing gets in there, and it's, you know, a waterproof seal. So I did that for that guy. I did it for this guy right down there. I did it for this guy. So like I said, I'm not the greenest thumb. I don't know everything. Like this one had a really tall one too that they just let cut there. I don't know why. And I was thinking I should leave it in case maybe it'll start growing more, but it was really dead. Like it was just, I thought it was bamboo. I thought maybe they had this stick here and it grew into it. That's what it looked like. So as you can see, the little pieces I cut off, I just threw them in here. I mean, they were completely dry and just weird, so I just cut it off and then I colored or filled it in. But I mean, they're looking good. Little Peter Sunny's so adorable. He's a little shorty. I just can't wait to see more like fig on these and see if I get any Breba, which is the first crop that comes in. This guy's gotten so much bigger. I don't know if you remember from the last video. I mean, his leaves are like ridiculous and really soft and pretty. This one had an ugly leaf, and I'm afraid that, I hope that's not some kind of rust that's gonna spread to the other guys, because he came with this leaf. The leaf is pretty ugly. And my other ones are just like beautiful and pristine little figs. Violette De Bordeaux, she is starting to take off. Look at that little, hopefully you can see that her little leaves are starting to open up. And so I'm really excited about that because she's my fancy girl. This guy's not doing anything. Like, this is a Kadota. He had this same little leaf when I picked him up. Ugh. Let me see. And it still looks the same. I don't know if you can, it's just like, he'll get there, I guess, but he's still kind of sleeping, I guess. And they look like, he looks old. That's what's funny about this one. It looks like ancient. Like the wood itself looks old. And then this guy is the improved brown turkey, which I never wanted to buy because I like brown turkey. But everyone says they're so good, so might as well try it. And look at that, he's opened up completely, or he's starting to, but this little head looked just like this one, you know, a couple days ago. So hopefully this guy will wake up soon. I don't know what's going on with him. He has a really thick trunk. I suppose that's what you want, but look at that. But it also looks very damaged, like sun damaged. So maybe he's, hopefully he'll be okay. But yeah, so this one's opening up. Sorry, my camera. And even the next bud underneath there is opening up. So you know what? We're having 75, 80 degree days out here. So hopefully that's all waking these guys up. And hopefully I won't drop any more of my lemons and, you know, wish me luck. But I will keep you guys updated. I was going to repot these, but you know what? At $20 and $30 a pot, all of these guys, all the ones I bought over there, I thought, you know what, for right now, let's just give it a little rest, especially since I don't know what's going on with this house. I have a lot of other things that we need to buy. To be honest, those geraniums were already here when I got here, and I'm like, oh, let's rip those out and put these guys in those pots, because why not? Look how big those pots are. And geraniums, you can plant those anywhere. They'll just take off. They don't need to be in those pots. So that might be a way of getting these guys potted up without having to go spend more money on more beautiful pots, all right, instead of these black pots. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any tips about figs, let me know, because I would love to know it. But look how different the little leaves are. Oh, you know, I just saw a video where a guy was saying, I don't know, these are weird, because look how this one's just kind of rounded, like a spade. But now it's becoming more three-lobed up here. This is just a little baby one, I guess that's why. So they change as they're growing out. And there are some really small ones too, like this tiny little thing. I feel like it's gonna stay that way, you know, like a little run. Because look, this one already has 3 lobes. I don't know what's going on. Really weird. Maybe well, look at that. Even this one has like a weird one and then a 3-lobe one. Is that how this tree is? Maybe that's how this tree is. But he was wondering that the same thing. You know, look at this one. Look how sharp it looks compared to like this guy who's like kind of rounded at the edges. Or does that have to do with Breba and New? I have no idea, guys. Anyway, it's fun. It's fun to see the differences between these guys. But just real quick before you know, as I'm saying that, look how skinny and weird these ones are. Not the prettiest leaf. It's so weird though, right? Look how skinny and long that is in the middle there, and then like this guy has 5 lobes. So pretty. All right, thanks for watching. That was the Black Mission, in case I didn't mention it. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye now. Hi guys, so I don't know if I'm gonna do this like in real time and upload this, or maybe whenever I end this kind of root cutting series. I'm trying to record things in phases and then just have one video for you guys to see. So this morning I came down, these have been in a tub, just a plastic tub that you saw at the beginning there with the lid. And then I came down this morning, it's been about 3 days, and I saw some white, like little white hairs, like, not the Chicago Hardy so much. Yeah, on this Chicago Hardy over here. And they're gonna be really super hard to see. I know that, but they're like just like the thinnest little thing. And maybe you can see it better on this one. And what's funny is that these all came from the same seller. And I'm not saying, you know, but I don't know. Maybe he sent me something that had a little something. See that tip? Oh God, so gross. Because the ones that came from figvid.com from Green Fig, which is out of Pasadena, are just perfectly fine. They look great. These are all pretty much from her and this one. Or him, sorry, I don't know. And then Saxon Fig is the one I got the other ones from, and those are the ones that all look pretty bad. So, I don't know. And then I should have known better. This one guy makes videos, Ben B, Seattle, fig videos, and he said to wash your cuttings when they come in. I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever. Because I was kind of busy that day. I had just, like I said, my house looks like this. Got a little bit of a fender bender, and it was just a horrible day. And then the fig cuttings came in, so I'm like, oh God, I gotta plant these or do something with them. So I just basically pot them up real quick with half vermiculite, half perlite here, so that way they wouldn't rot, because there's nothing, no kind of medium in there. But I thought that since those were hardier, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and do vermiculite. What am I talking about? Perlite, vermiculite, and a little potting soil on those other ones with the larger thing. And this one I planted that way because it had a little fig on it and it had leaves, and the leaves are doing well. They're growing. Obviously these aren't rooting yet. It's only been like 3 days. But what I am going to do, I have seen people kind of spot treat with some peroxide. I'm getting my little peroxide. This one doesn't say how much percentage peroxide this is. That's weird. Okay, 3%. I wanted 3%, but I wasn't sure. It usually says on the front. I went to Albertsons this morning. It's the only place that's open. I bought this little bottle. They only had one spray bottle, $4. I was like, this is sorry, my tripod. I knocked it over. So you do want 1 cup of water for 1 teaspoon of peroxide if you're gonna do this kind of treatment. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it, and that might be a little more because I have a problem right now, right? You can do this prior. You can do this to all your plants out in the garden, whatever. And then if you're gonna pour it into the roots themselves or into the water themselves, you want 1-to-1 ratio. So I'm gonna start off by just using the spray, and if it looks like the mold isn't going away, I will do more. It's not like the mold that's gonna kill it, because that would be like black mold, right? So this is little white mold, but still, I just don't want it on there. So what I'm gonna do is, make sure that's shaking up, is I'm just going to spray, whenever this thing would go. Actually, I should see what kind of spray this gives. Okay, this one's pretty, of course, it's not even like a nice spray. There we go. I wanted more of a fine mist. Okay, I'm just gonna spray down these guys just to make sure. And that's also kind of getting into the potting soil. I'm just gonna squirt a little bit in there too, into the soil, because it will kill whatever might be in there. Okay, but that's kind of why you want 1-to-1 ratio on that part. I'm gonna put this over here. And if it's really bad on some of them, what I'm gonna do is wipe it down. So like this little guy doesn't really have a huge problem, but I'm still gonna put this on here. Pour it in there. These are the ones that have the biggest issue, but I'm going to wipe them down. I'm gonna let them suck it up for a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna come back and wipe it down, okay? So I'm gonna just do that. And like I said, I'm kind of spraying some so that it goes into the soil. And I'm not gonna put these back in those tubs. Like I said, I live in California. I don't really need them to have that humidity, especially now the sun's up. Daily temperatures are in the 70s. So it's not gonna kill anything if I just were to put these outside. I'm gonna leave them inside for a couple more days because that's where they were, and I want them to get used to, like, okay, now you're not in the humidity, but we're gonna take you outside after a while. And so, like I said, I'm gonna let these sit just for a couple minutes, and then I'll be right back. That's the worst one. I actually need to spray them right now. Okay guys, apparently my camera cut out on me. I didn't realize it wasn't recording. So basically all I did was just take some paper toweling and find a new spot, and each time you're gonna wipe a leaf or, you know, a stick here. So I'm just gonna wipe them down like that, find a new spot, wipe it off. You don't have to do this, especially like if you were spraying this out in your garden. Obviously you're not gonna go to each plant and, you know, kind of wipe it off, but you know, I really wanted to wipe off what was on like this guy, or he was the worst one. So I really kind of got in there and wiped him down. And some of these other ones, I kind of just cleaned them off as well as I could. What I was going to mention is I saw, you know, different people are using hydrogen peroxide for different reasons in the garden. Mostly it's for this, but it actually helps your plants also, because when hydrogen peroxide breaks down, it's basically oxygen and water. I can't remember right now. It's just two basic things. It's not going to hurt anything. Yeah, so like it helps, and it's not gonna hurt. So that's pretty much what you want to do with that. So what I'm gonna do is also take some candle wax and melt it, just to cover up the tops of here. These, they look great. Like this should have shrunk back already. You know what I'm saying? The little soft squishy that cambium layer, or the inside. I forget what they call it. But they're all pretty good. They're just still there and looking great. But at the same time, they are going to start drying out. I'm going to take these guys outside. I'm going to leave them out right here in my kitchen that's destroyed right now for a little while, because basically, I don't need to take them outside. But here in California, like I said, we're already having like 70-degree weather. So I'm going to leave them in here because they were used to being in here in a humid box. So I'm going to leave them in here just to kind of get used to just being outside. And maybe in like 2 or 3 days, I'm going to take them outside. Now, I do have some cuttings outside already, and I just put them in a big pot, and I put like 3 sticks in there, you know, keep it moist. And I put a plastic bag, over it. So it kind of keeps it a little bit warm. And those look great. Those aren't doing anything like these guys did. It's just, because it kind of airs out on its own. I guess with the plastic bag, it's not like on there tight. These guys were just in a nice, tight, sealed box, and they were like, oh, we're gonna start doing what we do. But let me melt a candle, and I'll be right back. So I have a candle melting here. I got it from a baby shower the other day. And if you're a real, you know, awesome person, you can just stick your finger in that wax or, you know, have a bigger candle. But this is not scented or anything. It's just a regular old candle. And I'm just going to use a knife here to kind of help me get some of that candle wax. And I'm just going to seal this. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Until I have enough to kind of seal this in, I'm just going to keep doing that, applying more and more. And hopefully, oh, did you even see that? Yeah. You can kind of scoop it a little bit. I used a spoon last time I did this with my figs outside, but just to seal that off. And that will also help from mold and things growing in that area. Some are larger than others, obviously, like this little guy I can seal pretty quick, just like that. And it's just a natural way to protect, well, kind of natural. And you can probably just pour it, but I don't want to burn this thing with like really, really hot thing pouring in there. So I do a little at a time, just build it up until it's closed in. And obviously you can buy latex paint, you can water it down a little bit or do whatever you want, but I'm just going to keep doing that until they're covered. And that's it, guys. So hopefully, you know, I'll follow up again and hopefully they'll be doing better. Okay, guys, I actually just brought my fig cuttings out today because it's been sometimes in the high 60s, consistently kind of in the 70s, low 70s. And I just want to show you, I brought my fig cuttings out today. They've been in the house for exactly 1 week. You guys, I just showed you how they started kind of rotting, and I sprayed them with the peroxide and kind of wiped them off. And that took care of it. The next day I didn't see any signs of any of that, like nothing. So I do want to show you just this morning, since the sun's out and it's going to be out, you know, moving forward, I figured might as well bring them outside. And actually the humidity inside here, even without a lid, feels pretty good. I think this is going to be good. I'm still waiting for any kind of roots to develop. It's only been 1 week, so I don't really want to bother them or poke at them until maybe at the end of the second week. So maybe in one more week, I'll try and see if I got any roots. But again, just kind of misting them with a little spray bottle. This is just water. And only because I saw Ivy Organics, Charles Malky, talk about that. So basically I just take a little water, and every day, especially when they were right by the window, I just kind of spray them. I don't see a lot, like I said, a lot of change. Nothing's dying off though. I did pick off that one little fig because I was like, you know what, I don't want it taking up precious resources that this fig needs to make its roots. I did have another set over here that I told you guys I just stuck in a thing with soil, and I just put a bag on it. And like I said, it's only been a week. I don't mind messing with these because these are kind of what I would consider extras. Let me try to get, I don't know if you can see them there. There's 3, 1, 2, 3 over here. And you know, I don't know that they're doing anything, but like I said, it's only been a week. I don't know that I see anything. Well, there's something kind of hair-like coming off the bottom of this one, but I'm just going to put it right back in there and not mess with it. I come out and spray these a little bit every other day too. You know, I've never done this before. We'll see what happens. I'll probably end of this video because I just want to show you guys how I had to save those guys from, you know, rotting out. I do want to show you my little Jack's Honey, Panache, or Tiger. What's this one? Oh, Ischia, green Ischia. This guy, when I bought him, he didn't have anything on top, just like a little bud, and look at that. And he's been here for maybe 3 weeks. This one had a little fig when I got him. I bought him at Home Depot. This is a blackjack. The one I just showed you is a black mission fig. And look how big he is. He's so cute. I don't know. And then he's got little buddies and other things coming up. So this one's interesting, Violette De Bordeaux. Look how delicate her little flowers are, or leaves, should I say. And she was these guys that I'm showing you right now, they come out micro tiny. Some of the other ones, I mean, when they open up, they're kind of already this size. Hers came out like, I don't know if you can see these. Super tiny. And then this morning, out of nowhere, I don't know what happened. I look at these every day and I inspect them just to make sure they're growing. I saw this down here and I didn't even notice that there was another twig coming out of here. And it's also has its little leaves. I don't know if you can see that. So what I'm gonna do with this, I'm gonna let it grow a little bit more and then I'm gonna cut it off so it has roots, and I'm gonna plant that. And now we got another fancy Violette De Bordeaux without doing any work. Like, that's pretty cool. Actually, I can cover it up more with a little bit more dirt, and that'll make it have its own little roots because they're dark down there. But I'll leave it alone because it did its own thing anyway. Kadota is not doing anything. I don't know what's going on with this Kadota Fig. I told you I like it because he looks prehistoric. Like, his little wood structure is like so weird. Obviously he's done lots of things in the past. I don't know, maybe he just hasn't woken up yet. Or maybe this one's special and needs some extra care, I don't know. But look at that, just a little hard little top guy. But maybe he's later in the season, I don't know. And then this is improved brown turkey, because I guess one that they had before was having problems. And she had just a bud just like the Kadota I showed you, and she's opened up. Look how big this is. That's what I'm saying. Like, these leaves, when they open up, they're way bigger than the Violette De Bordeaux, but she's a delicate little creature, and she makes little figs too, or smaller than average, so I guess that all kind of goes with that. So I have some squash and zucchini and tomatoes planted over there, super excited. I did buy this to hang a strawberry and hang some fuchsia, and it was way too heavy. It says on there 15 pounds. I'm like, oh, this will be fine. I think one of those plants weighed 15 pounds by itself, so I bought these little things. I gotta get some liquid in there, and it's cute. Blueberries, 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 strawberry. I've never grown blueberries before, but you're supposed to have 2 different varieties so that they bloom better or make better blueberries, even though they will work on their own. I just went crazy because that first bush I bought at Home Depot had a bunch of blueberries on already, and they're almost ready, like ripened, which is really early, so I think they probably grew them in a greenhouse. I don't know, because it's not time for it. But that second one, well, I guess the first one past the geranium, is super cute, super pink. It has very few leaves. Since I got it home, it's gone off as far as leaves, so I only had like 2 when I got it. And I asked the people at Green Thumb Nursery if that's normal, and she's like, oh yeah, they drop their leaves and they'll come back. And sure enough, the blooms came back before the leaves, so that one's good. This little tiny guy in the middle is like a Vigoro brand, so I think that's a Misty. And what's depressing, so I bought another one of that little cute guy from Home Depot because they were like going off, like I said. But what's weird is that those don't tell you what kind of blueberry they are. And so that's kind of weird. Anyway, so I have 3 different types basically, so that the butterflies and, you know, my little pollinators, my bees will come through and mess with them. I think I need to put another strawberry here just to make it a little more symmetrical. And then I try to dig into the dirt back there. I have gophers, so that's one thing I wouldn't put in the dirt anyway. But it is impossible. I don't know if it's these palms. It's like spongy, like a mesh. Like, you cannot get through that dirt. I couldn't even dig in 2 inches. The first, inch, like, just to get in there. I don't know what is going on. On the other side, there is a climbing fig, though. I don't know if you can see that over there. And I thought maybe it's that root, because those are kind of aggressive and they just went everywhere. Because when I dug over here, I put in yesterday that little lemon. I finally dug one in and I made a gopher cage for it by hand, all from scratch. Anyway, still need to, make it look a little nicer. That one right there. It was really easy to dig the hole. So I don't know what is in here or growing in here, unless that's how palms grow. Look at my palms, they're crazy. I told my husband he wants to cut them down, but I'm like, they're so awesome. Look at this. I have this tall one, and then, let me get the sun out of your face, 6 more, and then another tall one over here. And it's just so pretty. But, they're ornamental, they don't do anything for me. But, so maybe that's how their roots grow, but I looked it up online and no one says that they have those kind of roots, so I don't know what it is. It's really weird. So like these hydrangeas, I bought them because I love hydrangea. I was ready to dig them in there, and I'm like, they're not entering. So now I had to put them in bowls, and I'm gonna have to go buy bigger ones because I didn't plan on not putting them in the ground, So, unless I take them and maybe line them over here. That might be one thing. I can put them over here and let them start doing what they do, because they, if they're good and healthy, they will take off and make some big bushes, They just do that. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry I totally went off from the fig talk, but yeah, so use your hydrogen peroxide with a little water. I will put the ratios. Basically, if you're using it as a spray, it's a little bit of the hydrogen peroxide per cup of water, but if you're going to use it as like you want a whole gallon that you're going to pour into your plants, like in the roots, which it helps really great. I'll have the ratios for you at the end of this video if I didn't already put them in there, okay? So thanks for watching. Oh, look at my little kumquat. He's getting all kinds of new growth right here. We're just waiting for these guys to mature, or to ripen, obviously. But I love new growth. That's good. That's a good sign. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye now. Hi, guys. I hope you can hear me. I've been wanting to make this video as a follow-up to all those other times I've talked about my figs here on my channel. If you guys remember, I bought some fig cuttings, which are basically just sticks, like branches that you buy online. They sell them on eBay. These came from figbid.com. And I was trying to get them to root. And the last thing I think I cut off on was one of them looked like it was rooting, but it really wasn't. The little buds were kind of swelling, like those little dots around the nodes, like these. Hopefully you can see. Well, maybe not. Ugh, darn. Like these little areas where it has like little bumps, but it really wasn't. So this is May 3rd. I think I started messing with these guys like in February. As you can see, they're totally different now. I had them in cups. I did keep these two in cups because I wanted to see how, because they were looking okay. They weren't drying out and they seemed like they were okay. So I'm doing the same thing. It's just perlite. Actually, that's not true. Let me back up. You remember that there was a little bit of like a fungus issue going on. And so I cleaned them up and that worked really well. I've never seen another even speck of mold or fungus on these guys. So that was great. But then, you know, I was kind of worried about how to do this, so I figgy popped them, which I'll include Ben B, Seattle, I think his name is, his YouTube channel, where you basically just put your potting mix, whatever you're going to try to grow them in a little plastic bag. Now, I didn't go out and buy new plastic bags. I had these from, like, the Dollar Tree. You can just use a party bag. I happen to have some that were half size. They were kind of short, even though they're the same as the party bags. They started selling them at the Dollar Tree not too long ago. You can just cut them down, or you can leave them as big as you want. I just was like, well, these, you know, cuttings weren't that big, so I didn't need that much. So all I did was just mix some potting soil, which I think I used Kellogg's Patio Plus, with a little bit more perlite in it. And I think I added a little bit of peat moss. And just moistened it, just so that it has some moisture, but not like super wet. Put each little stick in there and then just sealed it off with like the little bag ties that come with these kind of Dollar Tree goodie bags. And I left them alone for a while and they weren't really doing much. You know, every day I would spray them with water because I saw that from Charles Malky and his channel Ivy Organics that, you know, because obviously these are just sticks, you don't want them to dry out. And I had them inside this whole time, so let me go back up. They were inside the house. And like I said, they weren't doing much. It started getting warmer out here, but then, you know, a couple weeks went back into the 60s. Like this week it's in the 60s, a little overcast again, even though it's May. Suppose it's gonna be 70 today, but back in the 60s again. And so I kind of went back and forth between either having them inside the house or bringing them outside to get some sun. I would leave them kind of in a shady spot. Now that they've been outside for like 2 weeks, they're in full sun whenever they get the sun, and I think it's been great for them. I started off by ripping off some of the little, remember I was like, oh, they have buds and I didn't want to take them off, but some of them I did. And now that they're growing buds again, I'm just like, I'll leave it alone. So still not much going on. Finally, I bought some rooting powder. So I got these guys out, I cleaned them off, dipped them in some rooting powder, put them back in the bags. And that was about a month ago. So it still took a while. But just the other day I was like looking at them, because I always look at them, I'm like, oh, what's going on here? And like this one, it looked like she was getting some little green buds, even though the stick looks dead. And but when you spray them with water, they look a lot more green. It's just right now it's dry. And I was like, what the heck? I saw these roots, and I'm not kidding, that was probably one root, and then in the last week she's grown all these other roots. Look at this. I need to get her potted up before these roots rot. I just didn't know how I want to pot it next. So then I was like, well, that's a Melissy one. And then the Melissy next to it had a root, and I was like, sweet. So there's another Melissy, and had its little leaf. Now this one's also a Melissy. It has no roots, so that's kind of interesting. So then I started looking at the rest of them, nothing. So it seems like the Melissy cuttings have been waking up around the same time. So the next one to wake up was not this guy. I don't even know what this is. I think it's a Chicago. Oh, which one was it? I don't know. Just one other one here. And I say wake up because I saw like a little. Oh darn it! Which one is it? There's a few others in here that have roots, but one of the one was a thick one too, so I was like, oh, that's so awesome. It makes me really happy, but oh well. And then just last week, this Marseillaise Black MBVS has a fat root at the bottom. Oh gosh, where is it? Sorry. I broke my tripod. So right down there, hopefully you can see him right in front of your face there. And that's been the only one I can see, so I'm hoping in the cup there's more. I don't want to mess with them. I did not dip those in rooting powder. So that's another one. And then today I noticed an Italian honey, but I don't remember which one, is doing its thing. And then I saw another one. So it's just like, I think they're waking up as the plant itself wants to, you know. This one doesn't have it. Oh, which one is it? One of these other Italian honeys is getting a root. Sorry. Oh, right down there. And then another one is getting its root right down at the bottom, just like that one. Was it this guy? Yeah, this guy. Look, it's almost exactly the same. So I'm so happy. Like for me, I just wanted at least one of each variety to root. So I have several of each variety rooting. And like I said, it seems like they're doing it at the same time. You know, if one's going off of the same variety, the other one's going off. Look at my little Peter's honey. Look at this thing. She has 10 figs. It's the only one that has any figs other than, you know, my greenish, oh, it's a tiger stripe or whatever they call it. This is the greenish, it's not doing anything. But look how much greener these guys are. I don't know if I was following up on the same videos with you guys. I've been making so many videos. I mean, this is the one that had that little fig on top. I covered it already. And all of a sudden she started getting all her leaves, which is great. No more figs, but still leaves. This is my Violette De Bordeaux, which was just a little stick. And she even has this bottom part. I'm gonna leave it because, I don't know, why not? I was gonna cut it off and make a cutting with it. And I still might. But that bottom piece is doing its own thing, so I'm just gonna leave it there for now. This is my Kadota Fig, which was the last one to wake up, but as soon as this thing woke up, like 2 weeks ago, it did all this. So even my kids are like, oh my gosh, look at it! And I always say, oh, this thing's going off, so now my kids like to say, this thing's going off whenever they see like my squashes back there or my tomatoes, it's going off, they always say. So it's kind of cute. We were at the Home Depot and Miranda was admiring some tomato plants and mentioned one was going off, and then this lady's like, oh, do you like tomatoes? So they started talking about gardening. My daughter's 4 years old, so that was really cute. Improved brown turkey, not doing too much other than growing. Everyone's growing. Everyone's getting green leaves. There are some little swollen buds that look like they're going to become figs, but for right now, the only one that's really gone off is that Jack's honey, or I always call him Jack's honey, Peter's honey. But, so what I'm going to do next is just plant the ones that are having a good amount of roots in a probably, I don't know if I'm going to do a 1 gallon size pot. You don't want the roots to kind of drown in their own having so much space. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when you start watering that medium, it's holding on to water, your little roots are in there. Like, you want it to be something where it's going to dry up, it's going to get to your root and not just drown it. So I'm probably not going to get the biggest pots, and I'm going to plant it in the same thing. So Kellogg's Patio Plus, some peat moss, and a pretty good amount of perlite or vermiculite, but I only have perlite left right now. And just put them in there and water them through, and then just keep watering them. I mean, look at these guys. They're really healthy, and I'm really happy. And it took several months. I mean, like I said, now it's May, and I started these guys in February. So just don't give up if something like that happens. You get your little cuttings, and they're not doing anything. You know, these Golden Celeste ones look like complete dry sticks. I don't know if they're going to do anything. But I'm going to keep hope alive for them, and we'll see. Because look at this. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? But pretty much all the other ones have done something, so I'm really happy with that, and I'm just gonna get them going. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope that helped. I tried like 3 different ways of potting these guys. You guys saw that, and or growing them. This worked out the best. I do have some on the side of the house. Let me see if I can get there without showing too much mess. I'll just go this way. Yeah, I have another fig right there. It's so funny. I bought that at Home Depot, and it just said Fig Magnolia from the Vigoro brand. And it was like the smallest thing, and now they're selling them same price, $7, and they're huge. I'm like, hey, but you know what? I grew that from almost scratch, so I guess I should feel proud about that. But these other guys over here, these I just neglected. I threw them outside just to see what would happen. So these guys have been out here for a long time too, and they're not doing anything either. So I have a Haykel Lebanese, and I think they're all the same. And let me see. I mean, nothing, but they're not dead. And you know, so I'm just gonna wait. So maybe these guys just haven't woken up like the other guys didn't wake up, and then they finally did. So I just keep watering it and just kind of keep an eye on them. Don't let it dry out too much. I mean, they're literally not doing anything, but they're not dead. You can see that the skin, the outer layer is really nice. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you at the next one. I'll have the links, like I said, to Ben B's Figgy Pop method, and hopefully that helps you guys out. All right, bye now. I have a bunch of videos where I was trying to root them and things like that, and that was, I think I got them in February. I know I bought these plants in February, so these guys are mostly between Home Depot and Green Thumb Nursery, so they're my local nursery, but also Home Depot. And then I found another nursery that was carrying some of these cooler varieties, which are the Peter's Fig, or Peter's Honey, the Panache or Tiger Fig, and then my Green Isha. And so these are all kind of green figs, and what I wanted because of that was because I thought, well, if I do have I do have a lot of birds. There's like crows and animals, you know, birds out here all the time. I wanted them to be green figs so that, you know, maybe the birds would ignore them. what I wanted to say about that is that, well, anyway, just when I got these guys, they were pretty much all sticks. Some of the ones, I don't know, maybe some of the Home Depot ones, if I already showed you guys, I might have mentioned them before. Might have had a leaf or two, but these guys were definitely sticks. Well, they had a little bit of growth on the top. That's right. These guys from the nursery. So when I brought them home, I kept them kind of in the shade a little bit because I know they were in the greenhouse. She even told me, she's like, oh, we haven't brought them out the greenhouse yet. So next year, if I buy any more figs, I'll probably not pick them up until like March or April. But they're, you know, people start buying them up in February, especially out here in California. So just I don't have to take care of it during that whole time and just waiting for it to do nothing really. But Peter's honey took off. He had a couple little leaves and then he just, you know, and this one I'm looking at it, it's getting very ripe. He's getting kind of soft and it's cute. So I'm really excited to have that first fig, but there are tons. I think he has like 10 or 12. My Panache had 2, and I don't know if these are Breba, because if I look at the tag, it basically says it's a later variety, and I am in California, and this is compared to Modesto, California, which is in Central Valley, where I'm from. But I don't know, we're already getting to like, you know, August, September, and so I'm thinking that might be a regular fig. There was another one right here and it fell off recently. Like it looked bad and I just touched him and he fell off. So he's struggling a little bit, but I can also see like other ones getting ready to pop out. So hopefully those come up. At least get a couple right this year. And these are young trees, guys. I think she said these guys were probably about 2 years old. She had some in a bigger, you know, like 10-gallon or whatever. But they were like $90 each, and they were about 3 years old. That's what she's like. There's not a lot of difference between them, but you know, you know, as they get older, they're gonna produce more. This little guy, I think, was also a twig, and now he has his little main crop probably. I'm trying to tell because all this stuff was new, so I would think that's main crop because it's growing on the new wood. Nothing. I didn't get any Brebas like on this old wood on anywhere, I think. But this one might be a Breba on this Black Mission because it has a very long neck, and a lot of times that's how you can tell. That's not the oldest wood though, because when I picked it up, it grew that, and then grew this nice green part. So I don't know. And again, if we don't really know, Brebas are like the first crop that comes in that aren't as good as the main crop, but some trees do have better Breba than others. And it grows on the old wood. So a lot of times they're going to be on like the trunk, you know, in these old nodes. So that's why, but then I thought, well, you know what? Maybe I picked these up so early that it was, you know, still growing, but then that is considered old wood. I don't know. And now this is the newer wood. So like, even though it was new, grew here a little bit newer, this whole top part I know is brand new. And now it's getting this guy. And I'm gonna let it grow because for right now, I just need growth on these guys, I think. See how that guy's coming out like a branch. And this is a branch, not just a leaf. This is a blackjack and he's not doing the best. I mean, it has some. And then I have my Violette De Bordeaux, who's not doing anything. She grew all these branches and now they look like old wood, even though they're brand new, because she didn't have a lot of this going on when I bought her. But and all the green leaves and everything. So, you know, she's growing. She does have like little tiny, these buds right here. That's basically where the fig comes from. And they don't look like they're swelling at all to me, but some of them do. Like on this side, there might be one that's a little bit larger. But there should be a fig on each one of these things. And maybe she's a later variety. It seems like, I don't know. So no Breba, not really doing much. Kadota was just a stick with this like old school looking, like, I think talked about that. It looked like dinosaur age. It's just like a little green piece on top. Just a stick with a green piece. And all of a sudden, she just grew. Like, she was not doing anything. The other figs are growing leaves. She did nothing. And then all of a sudden, in just a few weeks, she just budded out from here. Made all these stems. All these leaves, look how thick they are. And then double figs. See how there's 2 figs in this? Every single fig area. There was 2 here. There were 2 there. There was, you know, 2 here. There was 2 here. 1 fell off. A bunch of them fell off. So there were 2 here. There were 2 here, and as you can tell, I think this one's gonna fall off too. I can tell it looks kind of bad. But some of the other ones look good and they're holding on, so hopefully. And then even there's some new ones, and maybe that's the main crop. See, that's what I'm saying, I don't know. Like this new one right here. Oh goodness, I don't wanna focus. So if that one's barely coming up now, then that must be new, and these other ones are old. See, I don't know. I don't know what my trees are doing. They're kinda crazy. Brown turkey, now this one, she's doing great, and they're just so pretty. Look at the end of this fig. Oh, let's see if I can focus here. Let's get the background out of there. There we go. Look how cute. And what's so cool is that a fig is basically like an inside out flower, and you can see it almost looks like petals in the very end there. Just the way they're layered up on top of each other. It's adorable. So she's starting to turn colors a little bit, and they're supposed to be purple, so hopefully it'll do another swelling. I don't think this is as big as they're gonna get. They're big, but they're not that big. Back to the cuttings. So guys, I told you I just took them out of the bags. Some figgy popped really great, some didn't do anything, so I was just tired of it. I said, you know what? I potted up the ones that did make some roots, and that was not most of them, maybe half of them. And the other ones that didn't do anything, I was like, I'm just gonna stick them in dirt anyway. So Chicago Hardy did nothing when it was figgy popped. This is a Golden Celeste. It still didn't do anything. I think some kind of beetle ate the bark because this bark is all eaten away. And all of a sudden, I'm kidding, like about 2 weeks ago, they both started budding. This one started budding out first, and then that one started budding out. And that one already has a whole stem kind of growing up right here. And as you can see, they're together in this little tiny pot. So now I'm thinking maybe I should repot them. I'll probably put them in a bigger, maybe a 1 gallon, maybe a little bigger than that. Because they can grow together. If they fall apart as I'm separating them, I'll probably put them in 2 separate pots, because Chicago Hardy is a big plant. But at the same time, I've seen so many videos where people have like a 15 gallon, 10 gallon pot and they have 2 or 3 fig trees in it, because they stay small. I mean, you control that, right? The trunk isn't going to be like the hugest, not like it's 30 or 40 years old. This guy is, I don't even know what this guy is, and I'm hoping, well, I know this one's Golden Celeste, that's why that's there. I hope that's like an Italian honey or something, because I didn't get any of those to actually root. Actually, it says right on there what it is. It's a Melissi. Okay, so that's a Melissi, and this is a Melissi. So I have 2 Melissis. That's fine. So this is an Italian honey, and again, some kind of beetle ate the bark. It didn't do anything. It feels like it might be rooting, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. But hopefully something will pop up, because you never know. Like I said, these Chicago, everyone else is doing their thing. They just barely popped up, and even one of them looks like it has like a little fig starting to form, and this guy has a little fig up here too. And I know they're very small, and maybe the figs will fall off, but at least that's a good sign. This Melissi has a little fig right here. You can't see it, but it's starting to form. So there's a Melissi. I have 2 Melissis then that are going. And then, oh no, I'm sorry. This is the MBVS. This is the Marseillaise Black, which is kind of exciting, because I did want that to grow. Obviously, the Melissi over here is growing, and it's very small and delicate, so we'll see. That's another thing I should have mentioned about this Golden Celeste, that this lady at FigBid, whatever she sent to me, was just junk. Like, look how small these little things, they're literally twigs. There's 1, 2, and that third one I showed you over there. And they haven't done anything. They weren't dry like this. They had some greenery when they came in, but they dried up because it's so small and skinny. Like, there's nothing there for it to do. These are Italian honeys that didn't do anything, and I'm hoping they'll do something, because I really wanted that fig. I'm gonna take you over to another area where I have a few more cuttings, because I had put these other ones in pots. They kind of look like Chicago Italians, but they're not. They're really thick, nice, sturdy sticks that I got in your cuttings. They weren't doing anything. I stood them up in this pot. They're not doing anything, so I laid them down. So I laid them down in this dirt, and we will see. If they start rooting, that'd be great. I need to shove them in a little further, because at this point, I just want them to root. I don't care. Like, I will switch it out later, you know. I'm just taking you over to this other side yard. Oh yeah, my lawn looks great. This is California, and I water, guys, and it looks like this. I don't know. Well, I just moved here, so I don't know what's going on with the dirt in this place. But, you know, I have my raised garden beds and tomatoes everywhere, and peppers and eggplants. So look at this cute eggplant. I don't want to get distracted here, but look how cute this is. And they're a purple and white variety. I forgot the name of it right now. I have the tag there, but look how cute that is. Anyway, okay. So these guys are Hakel Lebanese and another Italian honey. Basically, this Hakel Lebanese, I got it from a guy because he got it from a friend of his that their family brought it in, you know, I think I already told you the story, like over 100 years ago, to the US when they came here. So, cool variety I've never seen or heard of. But again, not doing anything. So, but you never know. Some of these figs, like I'm telling you, that Chicago Hardy, I was just like, whatever, I'll just put it together and see what happens. But it took off, so hopefully they'll take off. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold on to this series of videos until everything's done, because it's already late in the season to start your cuttings anyway. So what I can do is at the end of the season kind of put it all together, and you kind of have an idea what to expect, what might happen. Then we'll go from there. So thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the next section. Hopefully it'll be like when actual production is coming in, and we'll be able to see what happens. Guys, so I might have mentioned hopefully earlier that my Peter's honey is ridiculously like just doing its thing, but I'm pretty sure there's a Brabacop, because it says here that it's very late in Central California basically, and I live in San Diego, so I'm assuming this is a breva because it's July 29th or so. That one's not ready. My daughter went to pick a strawberry. She just checked it out and left it. Okay, so I did put a little organza bag on this because I was like, the last thing I want is the bird to eat it. But what was funny is it was already kind of a tight fit to put it over it, and now it's even tighter. So I think we're gonna have to take it off. I don't know what we're gonna do. But I'm gonna get this off of here, but hopefully you can see the fig is obviously a lot different color than the rest of them. It's very, very, very soft. It's not drooping, but it has a very short neck, so I'm assuming it's ready to go. You see, I don't know if you can tell, this one is starting to swell, and it feels a little bit softer. This one's swelling, but see how this one is much smaller? You can kind of tell when they're starting to swell. They just look different. And I don't know if some of those are main crop. I doubt it. Well, they could be, but they're not that much smaller than what I would think is a breva, so I doubt those are main crop ones. But they might be. Who knows? Okay, I'm gonna pick this off, and then I'm gonna go ahead and open it up for you guys. So that's a good sign. And I picked it off at the, not just at the neck, because you're gonna tear it, but where it actually attaches to the tree. So it's a little bit thicker, a little woodier, that little piece right there. Sorry, I should have shown you, but basically I just went like this and took it off, okay? There are some that'll just fall off, but this one did not do that. But I mean, it feels pretty ripe. I hope there aren't any kind of bugs in here. Okay, we'll see. So I'm gonna try to cut this Miranda Lou. And I just give it a quick wash because, I don't know, I always feel like you should wash your fruit, but let's give this a little cut. I just saw a video where a guy he got the fig Dorian, and then a bunch of ants ran out of it. Yeah. Which is a kind of a bummer for him, obviously. Can you hold the figs? Yeah, just hold it. And then there we go. Oh, it's so cute. We've been patiently waiting for like, I don't know how many days already. You can just, yeah, you can just rip it apart. Okay, just put it down. Just put it down. Here. That's good. It's because that top part has that little piece of wood. I'm not kidding. For over, what, Dorian, 2 weeks probably since it's been ripening, that this guy every day has been telling me he wants to eat it, he wants to eat it, he needs to eat it. And I'm like, just wait. We can probably wait longer because, to be honest, it'll start getting like little brown spots and white spots on the outside, which is like the sugar crystallizing out there. But hopefully you can see the juice that's in there. So there's definitely honey in there. It's Peter's honey. It's a honey fig. Take this piece, Dorian, and just bite it. Yeah, just bite the whole thing. Yeah, there you go. All the way through. What do you think?
That's a honey taste.
Yeah? What do you think about it, though? It's good. He used to eat figs at my mom's neighbor's house. That's why I even have fig trees or figs. I wanted to do that because when he was little, he would eat them all the time. He's totally kind of forgotten about that, so he has no idea what, you know, what he's tasting or what, you know. Let me try this out.
These are just...
Keep eating it. It's yours. Oh, that's good. Okay. So... it probably could have used a few more days. It's a little thick. Let me try to focus on this thing. Come on. It's a little bit thick around the edges. It doesn't taste like latex or anything like that, so that part's fine. It does taste like melon. I don't know when people say that it's like, oh, melon, but it does have like a honeydew melon type flavor. Actually, it tastes like Korean melons, what it reminds me of if you've ever had a Korean melon, which is probably more random, but look at that. Oh my gosh, this thing. Let me see if I can focus you guys in on... Sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand. Okay. Look at that juice in there. That's my fear. I was just so afraid that it would be completely dry. What do you think, Dorian?
Good.
It really is. I mean, it has a lot of liquid in it. So, I think this is where... You want to try it? Okay.
Take a big bite.
Oh, okay. What do you think, Ren? Bite all the way through, honey. What do you think? You don't like it? Are you sure?
It's too sweet.
It's too sweet. Okay.
Since when?
So, all right. Well, the 5-year-old thinks it's too sweet. But I think I'm gonna leave it here. I did pick up another plant at Lowe's recently, or tree. It says Turkish Fig, which apparently there's no just a Turkish Fig, so I had to look it up, and I went to their website because it was like Laverne Nursery or something like that, and they sell Kadota Figs, which I already have a Kadota Fig, so I don't know what to do about that. I might return it because I have a Kadota, but at the same time it doesn't really look like my Kadota. The leaves are different, so I don't know. And then other people are like, oh, it might be this type or that type, so I don't know. But real quick, I just wanted to follow up with you guys. I did up pot the Chicago Hardies that I showed you that really took, and I just up potted them today, actually, this morning. And I didn't want to separate them, so maybe when they get more mature, I would cut it right down the middle and put them in their own pots. But for now, I just kind of kept them together, and they're growing and they're doing great. So cute. Look at those little branches. So I don't expect them to do much this year. They're just going to grow. And I up potted the Marseillaise Black because this is the one that I showed you had its little figs. And actually, the little fig is getting bigger from the other day that I showed you. Oh, he's right here. And there's another one coming up towards the top. Where is it? I don't know, but I, you know, when they're this small, you really should just pluck them off, but I don't care. I just want to let them do what they're going to do. I don't get real, like, crazy with what I do with my figs. As far as the soil, it's a potting soil. I don't know. I mean, there's some peat moss in there. There's some, now that they have their leaves and everything, I put a little fertilizer. What fertilizer do I use? I use, I forgot that gal's. Kellogg's probably, or some EB Stone fertilizer. So thanks for watching, guys. I will follow up with you later in the season as, you know, more of the actual crop comes in, but for now I think that's it. I showed you guys what I did, the long journey to get here from February with the cuttings until now, basically end of July. And yeah, we got our first fig. Doran's enjoying still, and I'll see you guys the next one. Bye now.